Welcome to the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. I'm Stephen Rothberg, the founder of College Recruiter job search site. At College Recruiter, we believe that every student and recent grad deserves a great career.
And I'm Peter Zollman, founding principal of the AIM Group, the leading global business intelligence service for marketplaces and classified advertising companies. We consult with recruitment marketplaces companies and publish AIM Group recruitment intelligence and a free weekly digest. We also host the annual Global RecBuzz conference.
This is the podcast for you to learn more about how to create, manage, and work with general, niche, and aggregator job boards and recruitment marketplaces. Hey, Peter, happy to be with you today. And we've got a exceptional guest today, somebody who, like most of our other guests, is going to make us look like kindergarten children, but this one in particular.
Sounds fair to me. Happy New Year, sir. And Happy New Year to you, Katja. It's always good to start a new year fresh and have good holidays and good cheer. We hope for healthy, happy, a peaceful and prosperous 2023. It's hard to believe it's 2023 already.
It promises, if it's anything like the last few years, to be an interesting year. That is for sure. And just to build a little bit off of your teaser, our guest today is Katja Riefler, and she's very special. Because she works with Peter, and therefore she must be a very, very, very patient person. And B, because she's also had to work with me a little bit as an attendee and speaker at a couple of conferences, and therefore she also has to be a very, very patient person. But she's the conference organizer and the EMEA managing director for the AIM Group, which is the same organization that Peter works with. Katja is responsible for putting on RecBuzz, which is their annual conference for recruitment marketplaces and job boards. And I'm pretty excited because the next RecBuzz is going to be in a city and in a country that I've never been to. It's going to be in Berlin on April 20th and 21st. Katja herself has been with AIM Group for 20 years, which is amazing because she's only 23 years of age. And love to hear more about her background, but I think that she started an internet organization for German newspapers and ran a consulting business in 1998, beginning in 1998. So Katja, what did we miss? What about you should the listeners know that we didn't talk about?
Thanks, Stephen, and thanks, Peter, for the warm welcome. And I'm excited being here and having the ability to talk a little bit about RecBuzz. But now you're asking me about my life and my career. Good God, it's everything I have done in the past. And what I have achieved in the past is just by chance. You know, I was asked whether I would like to do this or that, and then I had to decide, yes, I want or I don't want to do this. And in my former life, I was a journalist. And as this journalist, I wrote a book about the future of newspapers. And the future of newspapers at that time, that was back in 1995, was that there's something like the internet. And I started to investigate, and I discovered the internet. And then the publishers, after I have published this, said, okay, there's something in it. Perhaps we should do something about it. There is this Katja that wrote this book. Perhaps she knows how to build a company. And this was something I wasn't really aware of. I haven't done this before. But then I said, why not? Let's try. I just need someone who could be the CEO, and I organize everything, and I find the attendees, or no, not attendees, the shareholders, and we will build this company. So we built a company of German publishers who wanted to explore the internet. after some years, they went a bit crazy because before the big bubble, they planned to go to the stock market with streaming video. There was no bandwidth, there was nothing. And the only really interesting thing they did, they disregarded as being not so interesting. And this thing was a common classified database. That was some of the things I wanted them to do, and they never did, or they tried, but it failed, and it was never what I expected that it would be. And so when they had this crazy idea with going to the stock market and becoming rich quick, I decided to become a consultant. And so I started my own small consulting business back in 1998, as you said, and I consulted newspapers. And this was about the time when I started to travel the world and go to every conference I could find that might discuss something interesting. And that's when I met Peter at a time, and we started talking about classifieds, about publishing, about the internet, and that was the beginning of my work with Peter. And
now she's my boss. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
She and Jonathan are either always telling me what to do or usually telling me where to go. And I mean that in the colloquial sense. Katja, RecBuzz, this will be the 5th or 6th, I think. We've been in Amsterdam, we've been in Barcelona, we've been in Berlin. What makes RecBuzz different from most recruitment conferences?
Actually, I think RecBuzz is pretty unique. And I think it is the only conference that focuses just on marketplaces for jobs and other intermediaries between candidates and employers. So it is really a business conference, and it is very strategic. So we have a high level of level attendees, and they just love to discuss what is of interest to them. So they love to discuss the big trends, the global trends. Where is everything going? How is this impacting the business? They love to talk. They love to talk money because everybody's interested in buying and selling businesses. And of course, everyone is interested in very good practices.
The audience is also pretty international. How many countries were represented last year? How many? We usually get 30 to 40 countries. People from Asia, from Europe. You tell me. I mean, I know the answers, but I might as well ask you because you're the expert.
Actually, we usually have people from 35 or more countries, and we have people from all parts of the world. So I always am very keen to have people from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America. Of course, the majority is from Europe, but we like this diversity because those international businesses can share more, and the learnings are better.
I love how the conversation is very quickly getting to the international aspect of it, because as somebody who spoke at RecBuzz in Barcelona, I think it was 2019, and then I also was fortunate to speak at the RecBuzz in Amsterdam in September 2022. What I've found as an attendee, as a speaker, that really sets the conferences apart is that international aspect. That, when you go and you have a coffee, if there are 5 of you standing there, you're probably from 4 different countries. And there are other conferences where there are lots of people from job boards and recruitment marketplaces, but nothing where it is just so very diverse. And it the learning opportunities, what happens in Malaysia versus in Ukraine versus in Nigeria versus in Austria are just phenomenal. So, Katja, in terms of the kinds of people, not so much the organizations or the geographic locations, but like the typical job title of an attendee. What are you finding are the most common for the people who are actually attending?
Actually, that's super difficult to say because it's all the strategy people. It is a high level of really the C-level management that is coming to these conferences. And there are business development people, of course, as well. An important part of RecBuzz is the networking that you already mentioned, because people want to talk to each other and they want to find out what good ideas they can copy or steal. And they also want to find partners. So it is a very good event to learn about new technology, about new ways to do things, and also to find ideas on how to improve your own business and revenue.
We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome, change agents, to your go-to place for stories that ignite your spirit, fuel your purpose, and connect us all. We believe in the incredible power of the human spirit, its boundless resilience, and the inspiration it brings to our lives. On the Driving Change podcast, we'll journey together through the extraordinary yet very relatable experiences of some of the most amazing people on earth. Our mission? That through these stories, we might just spark change within you and awaken a newfound motivation to harness your unique gifts to make a real difference in the world. So get ready to be inspired and join us on this incredible adventure. You can find the Driving Change podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you love listening to your favorite podcasts.
Welcome back to the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast.
We had Roman Prokofiev of Jubal at the RecBuzz conference in Amsterdam. He spoke about how to run your business from a bomb shelter. And then we had him on the podcast just a few weeks ago. Fabulous episode. You may want to listen to it if you haven't, because they're facing great difficulties operating in Ukraine. Understand we're going to have this year Roman Prokofiev and Dmitro Grin, who's CEO of aggregation for Jubal. And what topic are they going to talk about? And then talk about the broader topics of the conference, because with economic turmoil and job losses and at the same time tight labor markets, talk about what you're programming for the conference, Katja, and the topic that Roman and Dmitro will talk about.
Yeah, we are always, as I already mentioned, we are always talking about the global trends and what is really impacting the business. I think most job boards have had one of their best years so far. And now everybody is looking or is very anxious about coming recession. So we will discuss how this is going to work out, but we will have a lot of future-looking topics. That is, for example, how to deal with the Gen Z that is now coming into the workspace. We have a lot of people due to the pandemic who now are looking for different setups for their work life. And so job boards and portals need to adapt to this. So we will have a lot of hands-on discussions. And regarding Roman and Mitro, that's just a follow-up. We plan an interview because the situation is still pretty tight, and they plan to talk about not how to run a world business out of a bomb shelter, but now to talk about how to run a world business without electricity. And it looks very black humor, but if you have attended RecBuzz, then you know it will still be a very informative and interesting discussion. But it will just be one aspect, because now we are really focusing on the big topics that the job board landscape is interested in.
That sounds interesting, and I'm definitely really looking forward to hearing that. As I mentioned earlier, I've never been to Germany, let alone Berlin. I know it is a city that is fortunate to have a number of conferences hosted there. For those of us who have never been to Berlin, but who have been to cities like Amsterdam, London, etc., what's it like in Berlin? Like, what should visitors in the middle of April going to a conference expect?
Actually, Berlin is a very special city, and it is a shame that you have not been there before, because it is not worth one visit, but at least 10. It's not only the German capital, it is the German capital of startups. So it is very vibrant, it's very international, and there are many interesting companies there. Besides the job businesses, or some job businesses are there, like mobile jobs or job lift. That's a smaller one, but nevertheless interesting, and hay jobs and others. Not the really market leading ones for Stepstone, which we also hope to attract to the Berlin conference. It's headquartered in Düsseldorf. That's not so far. You know, Germany is a small country, so you can perhaps visit several cities if you are joining us for RecBuzz in April. And this is springtime, so we might expect very nice weather. What you can see and do in Berlin, besides it's the political capital, it is a design capital, it is a lot of interesting spaces you can see, and we hope to prepare a good program.
It was a remarkable experience to spend time in Berlin, because to see the wall, to see the Brandenburg Gate, to see the history and the Holocaust memorial, and it's just a remarkable city. And to see how vibrant it is now, just a few years after reunification, is amazing. For people who want to come, we have a discount code, and for sticking out the podcast from beginning to end. Katja, you want to give out the discount code and how people can find the conference and how people can find you?
Actually, you just have to go to the website RecBuzzConference.com and hit the registration button. And if you add the code podcast15, it's really special for everybody who listens to this podcast. Then you get 15% off.
So you go to RecBuzzConference.com, hit the registration button, and in the code field, it's podcast, PODCAST, and then the number 1, and then the number 5. Is that right, Katja?
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, for people who want to reach out to you, Katja, how would you like them to do that?
Actually, it's easiest to just write me an email, and that's just katjar@aimgroup.com. So really easy.
That's KATJAR@aimgroup.com.
Katja, thank you for joining us today. This was great.
Thank you both.
Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces is a co-production of Evergreen Podcasts, College Recruiter, and the AIM Group.
Please subscribe for free on your favorite app. Review it 5 stars are always nice. And recommend it to a couple of people you know who want to learn more about job boards and recruitment marketplaces.
Special thanks to our producer and engineer, Ian Douglas. I'm your host, Peter Zollman of the AIM Group, the leading global consultancy in the field of marketplaces and classified advertising. Find out more about our reports on recruitment marketplaces, job boards, and classifieds, including our new Recruitment Marketplaces Annual, at aimgroup.com/reports.
I'm your host, Stephen Rothberg, of job search site College Recruiter. Each year, we help more than 12 million candidates find great new jobs. Our customers are primarily Fortune 1000 companies, government agencies, and other employers who hire at scale and advertise their jobs with us. You can reach me at stephen@collegerecruiter.com.
Do you love news about LinkedIn, Indeed, Google, and just about every other recruitment tech company out there?
Hell yeah. I'm Chad.
I'm Cheese.
We're the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
All the latest recruiting news and insights are on our show.
Dripping in snark and attitude.
Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts.
We out.